Hey guys, welcome back to Sleep Drift Tales. Tonight we drift into another boring history sleep story. This time, the setting is Transylvania, a land of mountains, mist, and long-forgotten routines. If you'd like, you can subscribe before we begin, and let me know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? And what time is it for you right now? I always find it comforting to see listeners checking in from different places. So settle in, let the rain and fire sounds surround you, and allow yourself to drift off quickly with this relaxing story from the past. The mountains of Transylvania rise slowly from the earth. Stone peaks reach toward grey skies. Mist hangs between the hills. The air smells of pine and wet earth. Water drips from moss-covered rocks. Birds call from hidden places in the forest. Ancient roads wind through these mountains. They are made of flat stones. The stones fit together. Horses have walked these paths for hundreds of years. Their hooves have worn smooth grooves in the rock. Wagon wheels have carved deeper lines. Rain fills these grooves and flows away quietly. Time moves slowly. Pine trees grow thick on the mountainsides. Their branches hang heavy with needles. Snow remains on the high peaks even in summer. Below the tree line, the forest is dark and cool. Streams run between the trees. The water moves slowly over smooth stones. It makes soft sounds that echo through the woods. Wooden houses appear along the mountain roads. They have steep roofs made of wooden shingles. The walls are thick logs fitted tightly together. Smoke rises from stone chimneys. The smoke drifts up through the mist and disappears. Small windows show yellow light from inside. The glass is thick and wavy. People move slowly along these mountain paths. They wear heavy cloaks made of wool. Their boots make soft sounds on the wet stones. They carry bundles on their backs. Some lead horses loaded with goods. Others walk with long wooden staffs. Their voices fade into the mist as they pass. The valley floors are covered with grass and small farms. Stone fences mark the boundaries between fields. Sheep graze in meadows surrounded by forest. Their bells make small tinkling sounds that carry on the wind. Dogs bark in the distance. The sound echoes between the hills and fades away. Rivers flow through the valleys. The water is clear and cold. It runs over beds of smooth pebbles. Small wooden bridges cross the rivers. The bridges are old and weathered. Their timbers creak softly when people cross them. Fish swim in the deeper pools below the bridges. Mist rises from the rivers in the early morning. It drifts across the meadows and up the hillsides. The mist makes everything look soft and distant. Sounds become muffled. Footsteps on stone paths seem far away. Even the church bells in the villages sound quiet and peaceful. The land grows quiet. At the end of the day, the mist grows thicker. It fills the valleys. The mountain peaks disappear above the clouds. Only the tops of the tallest pine trees remain visible. Even the streams seem to whisper more softly. Night comes slowly to these mountains. The grey sky darkens to deep blue. Stars appear one by one above the mist. The wooden houses glow with warm yellow light. Smoke continues to rise from the chimneys. The valley settles into peaceful silence. And so the land prepares for rest. Villages sit in the valleys between the hills. They are built around central squares made of flat stones. The houses face inward toward these squares. Each house is made of thick logs and heavy timbers. The roofs are steep and covered with wooden shingles. The shingles have turned grey with age. Smoke rises from every chimney in the morning. The smoke is white and thin. It drifts straight up in the still air. Then it spreads and fades into the mist. The smell of burning wood fills the valleys. This smoke means people are cooking breakfast and warming their homes. Animals wander freely through the villages. Chickens peck at the ground between the houses. Pigs root in the mud behind wooden fences. Cows stand patiently in small yards. Horses rest in stables made of stone and wood. Their harnesses hang on wooden pegs. The leather is dark and worn smooth. Women draw water from stone wells in the village squares. The wells are deep and lined with fitted stones. The water is cold and clear. It fills wooden buckets with quiet splashing sounds. The women carry these buckets back to their houses. Their footsteps make soft sounds on the wet stones. Men work in fields that surround the villages. They use wooden ploughs pulled by oxen. The ploughs turn the dark earth in long straight rows. Seeds are planted by hand in the furrows. The men work slowly and steadily. They stop often to rest and drink water from clay jugs. Time moves slowly. Children play simple games in the village squares. They roll wooden hoops with sticks. They toss small stones into patterns drawn in the dirt. Their laughter echoes softly between the houses. When evening comes, they return to their homes for supper. Evening meals are cooked over fires in stone hearths. The flames dance and crackle. Pots hang from iron hooks over the coals. Steam rises from the cooking food. Families gather round wooden tables. They eat in quiet contentment. The only sounds are the soft clinking of wooden spoons. After supper, people sit by their fires. The flames burn lower as the evening grows late. Shadows dance on the walls. Old people tell quiet stories. Young people listen and nod. The fire pops and hisses softly. Sparks drift up the chimney and disappear. Dogs bark occasionally in the distance. The sound carries across the valley and echoes between the hills. Then silence returns. A church bell rings the hour. The sound is deep and peaceful. It fades slowly into the night air. The villagers grow quiet. Windows begin to show less light as people prepare for sleep. Candles are blown out one by one. The yellow glow behind the thick glass grows dim and disappears. Only the smoke from the chimneys shows that people still tend their fires. At the end of the evening, the villagers fall silent. Dogs stop barking. Children's voices fade away. Even the chickens stop their quiet clucking. Smoke drifts above the wooden roofs. The valleys rest in peaceful darkness, and so the villagers settle into sleep. Stone churches stand at the centers of many villages. Their walls are thick and built from blocks of grey stone. The stones fit together without mortar. They have stood this way for hundreds of years. Rain and wind have not moved them. The walls will stand for hundreds of years more. Church bells hang in tall towers made of the same grey stone. The towers rise high above the village houses. The bells are made of bronze and iron. They are very heavy. Thick ropes hang down from the bells into the church below. When the bells ring, their sound carries across the entire valley. Monasteries sit on hilltops away from the villages. They are surrounded by high stone walls. The walls have small windows that look out over the valleys. Monks live inside these walls. They spend their days in prayer and quiet work. Their lives follow the same pattern day after day. The monastery courtyards are paved with flat stones. A well stands in the center of each courtyard. Water drips steadily from the well rope. The sound echoes off the stone walls. Small gardens grow herbs and vegetables. The monks tend these gardens with careful attention. Inside the monastery churches, thick stone pillars support heavy roofs. The pillars are carved from single blocks of stone. They rise from stone floors to stone arches high above. Candles burn in metal holders attached to the pillars. The flames flicker and cast dancing shadows on the walls. The air grows still. Monks gather in these churches 7 times each day. They stand in wooden stalls along the walls. Their robes are brown or black wool. They hold books bound in leather. The pages are made of parchment. The words are written by hand in dark ink. The monks sing prayers together. Their voices blend into deep harmonies. The sound fills the stone spaces and echoes from the walls. Sometimes one voice sings alone while the others listen. The melodies are ancient and peaceful. They rise and fall. Long periods of silence follow the prayers. The monks bow their heads and close their eyes. Only the sound of dripping water and flickering candles disturbs the quiet footsteps, sometimes echo as a monk walks across the stone floor. The sound fades quickly into silence. Monastery libraries contain books copied by hand. The monks spend hours copying texts onto new pages. They use quill pens and dark ink. The work requires careful attention. Each letter is formed slowly and precisely. Pages dry in the quiet air. Time passes slowly. In the evening, the monastery bells ring for the last prayers of the day. The sound drifts across the valleys and reaches the distant villages. After the final prayers, the monks return to their cells. These small rooms contain only simple beds and wooden chairs. The monks prepare quietly for sleep. Candles are extinguished one by one throughout the monastery. The stone corridors grow dark. Only a few small flames remain burning before painted icons. The monastery settles into the deep silence of night. Water continues to drip in the courtyard well. At the end of the evening, the bells fall silent. The last prayers fade into the stone walls. The valleys rest in peaceful darkness. Smoke drifts above the monastery walls, and so the holy places settle into quiet rest. Castles stand on high hills overlooking the valleys. They are built from massive blocks of grey stone. The walls are thick and tall. They have small windows that look out over the land below. These windows are covered with heavy wooden shutters. Iron bars protect the glass behind the shutters. Heavy wooden gates close the entrances to these castles. The gates are bound with iron strips and large iron bolts. They hang from massive hinges set deep in the stone walls. When the gates close, they make deep booming sounds that echo through the courtyards. Inside the castle walls, stone courtyards are paved with flat stones. Wells provide water for the people who live there. The wells are deep, and their walls are lined with fitted stones. Water drips steadily from the well ropes. The sound echoes in the deep stone spaces. Great halls fill the centers of the largest castles. These halls have high stone ceilings supported by thick pillars. Long wooden tables fill the floors. Heavy wooden chairs line the walls. Tapestries hang from iron hooks. The tapestries show hunting scenes and forest animals. Fireplaces built into the stone walls provide heat for the great halls. The fireplaces are large enough for several people to stand inside. Logs burn slowly on iron grates. Flames dance and cast shadows on the stone walls. Smoke rises up stone chimneys and disappears into the sky. Stone staircases spiral up inside the castle towers. The steps are worn, smooth by countless feet. Iron railings provide support for climbing hands. Torches burn in metal holders attached to the walls. The flames flicker and make shadows dance on the curved stone walls. The air grows cool. Guards walk slowly along the castle walls. Their boots make echoing sounds on the stone. They carry long wooden staffs and wear heavy cloaks. At night, they check that all the gates are secure. Their voices call quietly to each other across the courtyards. In the highest towers, small rooms serve as lookouts over the land. These rooms have windows in all directions. From these windows, guards can see for miles across the valleys. They watch for travelers on the mountain roads. Smoke from distant villages shows where people live. Castle dungeons are carved from solid rock beneath the courtyards. Stone steps lead down into these dark spaces. Water seeps through the stone walls and drips onto the floors. The air is cool and damp. Iron gates close the entrances to the deepest chambers. At night, torches burn low in their holders throughout the castles. The flames grow smaller as the hours pass. Guards replace the torches with fresh ones. The old torches are extinguished and put away. New flames cast the same dancing shadows on the stone walls. Time moves slowly. Castle kitchens prepare simple meals over large stone hearths. Iron pots hang from chains over the coals. Steam rises from the cooking food. Servants carry wooden bowls and clay jugs. They work quietly and proficiently. Their footsteps echo in the stone corridors. At the end of the evening, the castle gates are secured for the night. Heavy iron bars slide into place. The last torches burn down to glowing coals. Guards continue their slow walks along the walls. Water drips in the courtyards. The castles settle into the peaceful quiet of night. Darkness spreads slowly across the Transylvanian valleys. The last light fades from the western sky. Stars appear one by one above the mountain peaks. The air grows cool and still. Mist begins to rise from the rivers and streams. It drifts across the meadows. Village windows show less and less yellow light as people prepare for sleep. Candles are blown out in houses throughout the valleys. The warm glow behind thick glass grows dim and disappears. Only a few lights remain burning in the largest buildings. These lights flicker like distant stars. Church bells ring the late evening hours. The sound carries across the valleys and echoes between the hills. Each bell has its own deep voice. The sounds blend together and fade into the night air. After the bells stop ringing, deep silence returns to the land. Monastery walls stand dark against the starry sky. Only small flames burn before painted icons in the chapels. Monks sleep in their simple cells. Their breathing is slow and peaceful. Water continues to drip in the stone courtyards. The sound echoes softly off the walls. Castle towers rise into the night. A few torches still burn in the highest windows. Guards make their slow rounds along the walls. Their footsteps echo on the stone. Their voices call quietly across the courtyards. Then silence returns. The land grows still. Animals in the villages settle down for the night. Chickens roost in their wooden coops. Pigs lie down in the mud behind their fences. Cows stand quietly in their stables. Horses rest with their heads hanging low. Dogs bark occasionally in the distance. Then they too grow quiet. Smoke continues to rise from chimneys throughout the valleys. The smoke is white in the darkness. It drifts straight up in the still air. Then it spreads and fades into the mist. The smell of burning wood fills the cool night air. Streams and rivers flow quietly through the darkness. The water runs over smooth stones and makes soft whispering sounds. Small bridges cross the water. Their wooden timbers creak softly in the night wind. Fish swim in the deep pools below the bridges. Mist grows thicker as the night progresses. It fills the valleys and drifts up the hillsides. Trees disappear into the white fog. Only their tops remain visible above the mist. Even the church towers fade into the white darkness. Forest sounds grow quiet as the night deepens. Birds stop calling from the trees. Small animals settle into their hiding places. Even the streams seem to whisper more softly. Only the wind makes gentle sounds as it moves through the pine branches. Time passes slowly. The last human voices fade into silence. Travelers on the mountain roads find shelter for the night. Their footsteps no longer echo on the stone paths. Even the guards in the castle towers speak more quietly. Their words disappear into the thick mist. Deep silence spreads across the land. The mountains rest in peaceful darkness. The valleys sleep beneath layers of white mist. Stars shine down on a world at rest. Water drips. Smoke rises. The land breathes slowly and deeply. At the end of the night, Transylvania sleeps. Villages rest in quiet darkness. Monasteries settle into holy silence. Castles stand over the sleeping valleys. Mist covers the land. The mountains dream. And so the ancient land finds its rest.